Hi, this is Kirk from livingafield.com. I'd like to welcome you to another session of our online learning academy, where today we're going to be talking about eastern white pine, the giant of the eastern forest. The botanical name of eastern white pine is Pinus strobus. Here are a few pictures of the white pine. Common names are just white pine. It ranges all over the eastern United States, basically east of the Mississippi, except for the extreme southeast. It's in the pine family, which is the Pinaceae family. This is perhaps one of the most important survival trees in the forest. It is easy to locate, it is easy to identify, and it's one of the tallest trees in eastern North America. This tree can grow to a height of 160 to 190 feet tall. There are, however, accounts of pre-colonial eastern white pines reaching 230 feet tall. The northern forests of Michigan was loaded with these trees, and they were the reason that the loggers basically clear-cut everything. The needles are a little bit different. When you look at the plant, let's back up just a little bit here. When you look at this plant, it looks like just a bunch of individual needles. However, the needles are actually arranged in groups. These groups are called fascicles. And one of the ways that you can be certain that you have white pine is that each fascicle contains 5 individual needles. The needles are blue-green, they're finely serrated, and they're anywhere from a couple of inches to up to maybe 5 inches long. The trunks can reach up to 5 feet in diameter. If you go up to heartwood pines, you'll see some amazingly huge old growth white pines. This grows from, as you might imagine, a spreading root system. You need a root system that goes deep and spreads out in order to support such a massive tree. The plant flowers in spring. This species is monoecious, meaning that each tree has both male and female sex parts. The male flowers are cylindrical, yellow, in clusters near the tip of the branches. The female flowers are light green, tinged in red, and also at the end of the branches. In the pictures at the right, you can see both the male and female sex organs. The slender cones are 3 to 6 inches long and anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 inches wide when they're open. You will find white pines in well-drained soils of cool or humid climates, but they also grow in boggy areas and rocky highlands. When walking through the forest, you will notice that mature species of this tree will tower over everything else. The parts that you can use on this tree are the needles, the inner bark. You can also harvest the pine nuts, although that's pretty tedious for what you end up with. Needles of this tree can be brewed into an excellent tea. This tea is high in vitamin C and sugars. As a matter of fact, the needles of white pine have 5 times the vitamin C of lemons. The inner bark is also a source of vitamins and minerals. The most notable of these vitamins is vitamin B. It's also extremely high in sugars. Eating the cambia layer of eastern white pine can provide a boost of energy. You should not eat large amounts of the inner bark raw. The fibrous nature of it can cause gastric distress. Typically, if you're going to use it, I'd recommend boiling it in water to make a kind of a soup and broth. The Algonquin tribes of the Northeast would gather the cambia layer of the eastern white pine during times of winter starvation. They would dry the inner bark and pound it into a flour substitute. This was highly nutritious and also loaded with energy. The Iroquois referred to their Algonquin neighbors as Adirondack. That's a pejorative Iroquois word meaning bark eater. I guess the Iroquois felt that they were great hunters and they didn't need to resort to eating bark. But in a survival situation, The most important thing is getting through. The following slides are meant for informational purposes only. They're not meant to diagnose or treat any illness or injury. Always consult with a physician or other qualified medical care provider concerning the diagnosis and treatment of any illness or injury. As I've said in all of these videos, I am not a physician and I do not play one on the internet. You can make an expectorant and cough suppressant by brewing tea, the inner bark and twigs of this tree. Simply simmer a fresh piece of the inner bark, approximately 2 by 4 inches, or a handful of twigs in a cup of water, and drink to alleviate chest congestion and cough. The sap also has antimicrobial properties. This sap was used by Native Americans to treat wounds. They applied the sap to open wounds to protect from bacteria and speed healing. The pitch was used by Native Americans to draw out boils and abscesses. Drinking a tea prepared from the cambrium layer and needles is also said to have a beneficial effect on the bladder and kidneys. This plant is anti-scorbutic. This means that the high vitamin C content will help prevent or eliminate scurvy, a disease caused by a deficiency of vitamin C. The plant is demulcent, which means that it soothes and tones the mucous membranes of the body. It is diuretic, which means that it will increase the formation and flow of urine. It's expectorant. The demulcent action helps your body rid itself of excess mucus. Pinus strobus has no toxic lookalikes, and there are no drug interactions concerning Pinus strobus. As always, though, you should consult with a physician or other qualified healthcare provider prior to taking any medicinal supplement. Pinus strobus is a plant with a rich history of edible and medicinal use. I hope you get out into the natural world and harvest some for yourself. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please try one of our other online videos. You might also be interested in one of our guided plant walks. You can find all of our training opportunities on our website at livingafield.com. I would appreciate you taking a moment and emailing me your feedback on this video to videos@livingafield.com. This ends our video presentation. I hope you have a wonderful day.